Hey guys, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Sorry this video took so long to get out, but big things are coming for 2026. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Merry Christmas from the Bear Guy on YouTube. Welcome back to Brands of the SVO. Today we'll be talking about none other than GearCraft. And a disclaimer before the video starts. GearCraft is hard to ID, mostly due to all the admin pouches on the front and how inconsistent some of their pictures are, plus a few other things. So expect mistakes in this video. I've tried my best to go over it a few times and make it as accurate as possible, but I still feel like I may mess up. As always, please correct me in the comments down below, and without further ado, enjoy the video. Started sometime around 2009, GearCraft's pre-2014 history is mostly lost from what I can tell, outside maybe some archives on a random Russian forum that I cannot find. So, post-2014 is where it'll be starting. I do want to say, GearCraft has always been more of an interesting company. While GearCraft never branded themselves as an airsoft company, they never said they weren't either. To this day, they don't really give off that serious tactical military brand vibe that most companies have. Most of their social media leans more towards the average consumer, especially with the memes they make. And since I feel like there's a chance they may see this video, hi GearCraft manager team, hi! Please give me an MK9 and ATAX FG. Okay, thank you, bye. This traces all the way back to 2014, when they even had a Dojin and Ultin as their logo. Anyway, their early products consisted of pouches, rigs, combat clothing, leaf suit tops, plus whatever else in custom orders. If you've been in the sphere for a while, you know that GearCraft originally made reproductions of Russian helmets, and some are still floating around in the market to this day. Now on to 2015, pretty much the same, but with a new repro helmet and even more weird custom orders, and whatever this is. In 2016, we start seeing some of their more famous items, like their 5-point sitting mat and one of their earliest vests, the MK4, being put into production. Also in 2016, we see the infamous SSO skirt. Outside of that, it stays mostly the same until 2017, when they dropped 3 new vests, the MK5, the MK6, and the MK7. They also kept making whatever. I'm honestly lost on what they were doing with custom orders, and I wish I'd gotten in on it. Finally, in 2018, we see some of the most interesting pieces come out, like the Frankenstein Gladiator, the GearCraft boots, which are just basically a copy of Fort's, and the MK9. Also, their most famous vest, the Autumn, came out that year. But I mean, look at these. Anyway, 2018 was the year the Autumn was announced and, well, produced. During this time, they also switched from their tacgear.ru site to the now known GearCraft RU site. Now, onto the gear itself. There are 4 main Atom plate carriers: the Extended, the Magnum, the Dugar, and the Universal. Trying to tell them apart is trying to differentiate Somalians. They all have the same shape, but small key differences. There are 2 generations, Gen 1 and Gen 2. You can tell them apart mainly by the Velcro in the back. And even then, there really aren't 4, there are 3, the Magnum, Extended, and Universal. The Extended is basically the same as the Dugar, to the point where they even use the same picture on the listing. You might bring up the buckles, but there's also something to that as well. While making this video, I spent 3 days combing through pictures of Autumn plate carriers, just trying to figure out that all the vests use the same buckles in the production, meaning the buckles don't mean jack. Even though the Extended carrier appears to have a lack of a buckle on the right strap, it doesn't actually. Because of this, the only real way to ID a carrier is via the front or the back. Most people in this war only photograph the front and don't really take pictures of the back of their carrier. Plate values don't really help either, unless something like the Magnum. So because of that, I'm not going to have a lot of reference pictures, but I'm also going to have to summarize and journalize a lot of the pictures, vests, and whatnot. So, we'll start with that. The most common Atom seems to be the Universal, followed by the Magnum, then the Extended / Dugar. Dugar, I don't know. Most of them being Atom 1s. The Atom 1 Universal is, as the name implies, the most universal vest seen, at least in multicam. It shows up with SSO, most FSB branches, Sober, Oman, Specialized Troops, Medics, Regular Soldiers, you get the point. The Autumn 1 Universal and Multicam is very much the all-use vest, as long as you change the loadout and patches. But let's say you didn't want Multicam. If you wanted MOS or ATAX FG, you'd usually see National Guard, Sober, Specialized Troops, and Regular Soldiers. However, there is an image of FSB wearing an ATAX FG Autumn. An EMR version also pops up once in a while, with references being with FSB OMD, border guards, and regular troops. Also special forces, which I forgot to talk about. Now, if you're a bit taller or want something longer, like the extended / Dugar, we've mostly seen those in multicam with more specialized troops, sober, regular soldiers, and even a marine. There are likely more using the extended in ATAX FG, but I couldn't find any references. Honestly, if you want an extended, you're probably better off getting the Autumn 1 Magnum. We've seen those with sober, regular troops, and even some Gen 2s with sober and regular soldiers. As mentioned, most of the love goes to the Autumn 1, since the Autumn 2 only recently came out in February. We'll likely see more pictures of it in the future. Still, use the Autumn 2 sparingly, as it's, well, a more recent carrier. Mostly use it on specialized and regular troop loadouts, and maybe, the occasional sober National Guard. But with that out of the way, the Autumn 1 may be hard to find because it recently got discontinued and taken off the site. While the second-hand market does exist, it's going to dry up, of course, as most stuff does. So, if you want one, try to get one sooner than later. Now, sorry for this video being so short. I've been aiming for longer videos, but I don't want to drag them out. I just want to give you all the information straightforward. I'd like to thank all of you for your support, and I hope in 2026 I can keep up with YouTube. But we'll see. Since I'm still playing a lot, there's much more to come. Anyway, as I said before, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And as always, I'll see you next time.